Hello. Good evening. YouTube shows that we have a good connection. Could you please write something into live streaming channel? Maybe pluses. Just as always, I hope you can see me and hear me and there are no interruptions. So we can proceed. I will be waiting for your pluses here. We have 14 people here, but I see no pluses in live streaming channel. Okay, just let me know if something will be wrong with connection. I assume that everything is fine now, so I will proceed. Please ping me and let me know if something changed. Okay, so just a quick reminder what is your task that we will be reviewing. First part was authentication and authorization. You had to implement a sign up endpoint that allows user to create a new account with login and password. Also, to implement a login endpoint that allows users to get access and refresh token pairs, and also refresh endpoint that allows to access to get new pair of tokens using refresh token. Also, there are some details. Sign up should accept password property, but it's replaced with hash, so no password is stored in database. Also, there is additional requirement that JWT access token should contain user ID and login in payload. And has some expiration time set, and expiration time of refresh token obviously should be more than access token because it will be used for refreshing a pair of tokens. Also, JWT token should be added into authorization header, and requests in order to be successful should contain this token. It should be valid. So all the requests except sign up, login, and doc and root pass should check that this header is present and contains correct value of token. Also, if authorization header is missing or it's invalid and so on, doesn't follow bearer scheme, we should return unauthorized response. And also secrets for signing tokens should be stored in .env file. It should not be hard-coded, just as always. Okay, so one more look at channel, nothing here. Okay, so let's take a look at the implementation. Okay, we will check only how authentication and authorization and login and error handling implemented. So we have two tasks and we need to check only these areas. So let's start from authentication and authorization. First of all, we will take a look at root module of our application. We can see that we have Auth module here, we have token module here, and also we have okay, exception filter is more about login and handling part. So let's see how token module works. Okay, so this is just a module. We import JWT module from Node.js. Let's take a look inside. We import whole JWT module from Node.js And to be honest, I don't think we need whole JWT module to be imported. Probably JWT service from this module should be enough. Let's take a look at the token service implementation. Okay, we have two methods here. We have method generate tokens, which uses JWT service to sign two tokens with provision of secrets and expires in, and you can see that we have different variables for tokens for different tokens expirations. We even have different secrets for these tokens. It's also okay. And also we have a validate method, which just uses verify async and takes a refresh token, and it tries to verify token using refresh token secret key. Okay, if token is not valid, we will receive a forbidden response. And also, as I mentioned previously, only JWT service is used here, so probably we didn't need to import whole module. Maybe we could import just service. Okay, let's take a look at the Auth module. We use JWT module again here. We use register method that also accepts secret and sign options, specifically token expiration time. Also, we have Auth service and we use Auth guard here. Let's take a look. What do we have inside of Auth service? Okay, we have sign up here. It's implemented the following way. We get a login from body, and after that we search users by login. Yes, we just make such a request. We expect login to be unique. So if this user already exists, we throw bad request response. We return bad request response. And if such user doesn't exist, we create a new user using body of the request. According to the requirements, we have enough information here. So, okay. Let's check that we don't store raw password in database. Okay, we use hash from bcrypt, and also we use crypt salt from environment variables. This is necessary to make our hash more secure, because we add random data there. Okay, we set version of a new user, it's 1, and then we save this user. This part works just like before. After that, we generate tokens and return them. To be honest, I don't think we have to generate tokens here because we have a dedicated method, but okay, probably it could be combined. It's not a mistake, but I think we should only create this user and return user ID. After that, user have to log in to obtain access to our application. Okay, next let's take a look at the login implementation. We get login and password from body. Then we search user by login. And if we can't find such user, we throw forbidden exception. It will be forbidden response. And after that, we use compare function, which compares raw password with hashed password. And if password doesn't match, then we throw forbidden exception. Otherwise, we generate access and refresh tokens. It looks fine, and also exception message is generic. User with such login and password is not found, because we shouldn't let our potential hacker know that okay, we have user with such login, but password is not much, etc. We don't need to expose this information. So generic exception, just you can't log in, your credentials are invalid, etc. Okay, and we can see refresh here. So we use validate from token service that we previously used, and we use generate tokens from token service if refresh token is valid. Otherwise, we return unauthorized response. So looks like it should work according to requirements. We can take a look at the credentials DTO. We use these standard decorators from class validator. We have refresh DTO, which must contain refresh token, which, by the way, is optional property. What else do we have here? We have here Auth controller, which just proxies requests to corresponding service. Also, you can see decorator public here. It means that everything that is not marked as public will be considered as private endpoint and requires authentication. So in my opinion, this is a better approach than explicitly setting protected endpoints, because you may forget to add something there, but if everything is considered to be private by default and you explicitly mark public, so in this case you will not have these security issues. Okay, we have seen how we generate this code, but we need to check how we check this presence of the tokens, and we need to take a look at the guards. So what is the guard? Guard is the thing that implements can activate interface. It should have method can activate, which returns Boolean value, and if result is true, then we can proceed with request, and otherwise if some error is thrown, we will terminate request, and this will prevent someone from accessing protected resources without proper authentication. Okay, so first of all, we need to know how decorator is public works. So this code will be easier to understand for you. This decorator public works very easy. It just sets specific metadata, is public to true. And what we do next, first of all, we check whether we are handling, whether we are working with private endpoint. If it's not private, then we just return true. We don't need more checks, because public requests should be, public endpoints should be accessible without authorization. It's okay. Otherwise, we get request from context. We extract token from header. You can see that it's done easily. We just go to request header authorization, split it into two parts, and we check that first part is bearer. It means that our token follows bearer scheme, and after that we return token. If we don't have token, we will receive unauthorized response. Otherwise, we try to verify our token. Please note that we don't go to user's database. We don't check for user by user ID. We don't compare passwords. This is the whole meaning of JWT tokens, because if we can verify token, we can assume that our the token holder, let's say, entity that manages token should have access to our resources. Because if we will just check password by going to database, we don't have many benefits from using of these tokens. So tokens itself should allow everything if it will be verified. Okay, this auth guard, you have seen how it's used. You have seen decorators public on public endpoints. Our private endpoints should not have it. So just by default, this guard will check requests that will be following to these endpoints. Okay, what else we need to see? Token module service. I think this is it. Maybe you have some questions. Oh, Alexander is typing. Unfortunately, I will not run application locally because I don't have supported Docker here. It's my working machine, so I will not be able to run it. We will just take a look at the code. The only thing I wanted to mention regarding environment variables, you have a big mistake here. Never ever commit your .env file. You should have .env.example file like this, which should contain examples of all your necessary variables, all the defaults, and so on. And .env should be added to gitignore. So it will allow you to not commit this file by mistake. So never commit .env because you can expose some sensitive information to GitHub, and especially if this is a private repository, because many bots exist in GitHub. They are looking for the secrets in .env files, and you may have a security issue because your information will be compromised. You will have to rotate all the secrets immediately and check that nothing was stolen from you, for example, or nothing was corrupted. So just add it to gitignore and never commit it. Okay. In this case, app will be run without Docker. Okay, I got your point. But yeah, anyway, I don't plan to run application. I think everybody knows how to do it. Let's take a look at the REST service second task. You had to implement a login service, which will be used for login instead of default one. Also, what you need to log, you should log at least URL, query parameters, body, and response with status code by your login service. Also, you should implement a custom exception filter and use it for handling errors during request processing. And in case of unexpected error response, you should respond with internal server error and some standard message. Also, your login service should log all the errors that happens in the application. You need to add listener and login to unquote exception event, as well as to unhandled rejection event. I remind you that unquote exception means that exception was not processed by any exception handler and it was thrown to main thread itself. And also unhandled rejection, this is something similar, but for asynchronous stuff, for rejected promises. Also, you can use writing to a standard output stream or to a file or both for logging. Also, you should implement multiple login levels, and login levels should be stored in environment variable as well. And also, log file rotation should be set up with file size parameters that is stored in environment variables. All this stuff is mentioned in scoring for the task as well. Okay, let's take a look at the implementation. So let's go to the app module. You can see that we use logger module here. Logger module provides us with custom logger service. Let's take a look what do we have inside. Okay, so we have some properties on initialization. We get a log file max size in kilobytes, and we multiply it to 1 kilobyte size in order to convert it to bytes, because by default file stats returned into bytes. It will be easier for us to compare. And also we try to get log level. We have default value here, and then we create log file. Let's take a look how it works. We check that folder exists, otherwise we create it. Create log file. Name of this method is a little bit misleading, because it doesn't create log file, it just creates a directory for logs. So create logs directory, maybe it will be a proper name. Okay, we have this log, error, warn, debug, verbose methods. And you can see that it uses write log and print log, but only in case if log level is higher than expected, than provided by environment variable. Okay, looks like it makes sense. Let's take a look at the write log. So we get logs folder path, and also we try to get file name. File name is not correct name for this function, because it's noun and we need to use verbs. So this function should be named something like get log file name, for example. It's confusing a little bit. Okay, so we get full path to log file, and then we use write file sync with date and message. Okay. I'm not a big fan of synchronous methods. I already told you that, so probably it would be better to use asynchronous versions of Node.js API. Nest.js is not an exception, and you can have asynchronous methods. And then we do check log rotation. Check log rotation receives file name and checks file size. And if this is more than max file size, I would suggest you to use more than or equal max file size. Then we change file name and do renaming. And this is not what I meant by log rotation. Log rotation means that you should create a new file instead of old one. But what you do is you just rename file and continue writing into the same file. So your max file size will be exceeding max size. So this is not correct implementation of log rotation. If I read this code properly, but rename sync, yes, it's not just API. So I would propose not to rename, but create new file and setting it as a current file name. Okay, print log just writes to process stdout. We use different colors for login. Okay, looks nice. But yeah, rotation doesn't seem to be correct. Alexander, maybe you have some comments here. Old file will be renamed and new file will be created. Sorry, but why do we need to rename old file just to check new file name. Right, look. Name sync. Okay, I got it. So file will be renamed, and after that, okay, I got it. Here we will create a new file name, but anyway, it looks implicit because I see rename sync, and maybe this logic of file name creation should be part of this method, or of the separate method, and write log should just write into file without creation of it, just thinking aloud. Okay, so we took a look at this logger service. Let's see how we get information from the request. We just extract request and response from context, and after that we log data we need. So we log URL, params. If I'm not mistaken, request params contains pass parameters, not query parameters. Query property name starts with query, if I'm not mistaken. This is the first thing. Next thing is I don't like this TS expect error. It means that something is going wrong. I just wanted to ask whether something like this will work instead, because we have a method is context get args. Yeah, we have this method. Also, we can use context switch to HTTP, and then we can get a request. So probably I would avoid this silencing of TypeScript. Maybe guys want to deprecate this access to this property. They made it private on purpose, I think. Okay, so after that we have this next call handler. We call handle. After that we call pipe, tap, etc. because it returns observable. But I really think we could avoid RxJS here, but okay. Just to have it, otherwise we'll lose it. New logs will be written in a new file, and you don't have latest updates. Yes, I don't have latest updates because I just checked your work and maybe you fixed stuff, but I don't have too many time to take a look at different versions of applications. So yeah, maybe I don't have latest updates. I just use the version that you provided to me on Sunday. Okay, this is about login, and also you can check that for logger service we have handling of uncaught exception and unhandled rejection, and we use logger service for logging of these errors. Okay, you can also see that our logger is connected to application here, so it's used instead of default logger. Good. And you have to implement exception filter, custom exception filter. Okay, here we implement interface exception filter. It should contain catch method, which is responsible for handling exceptions. So we check that if exception is HTTP exception, we can get status from it because it has such method. Otherwise, we consider it internal server error, which completely makes sense, because if error is not our HTTP exception that is thrown by us, then something is very wrong, and this is internal server error. Okay, I have only one minor proposal. You could do this once and put it into variable, something like is HTTP exception. Okay. Get status, get response, error message, pass, timestamp. Once again, we use login service error. We log all the errors as we wanted by using our custom exception filter, and after that we respond with status code and corresponding body. Okay. Looks fine from my perspective. Let's take a look whether we didn't check something from assignment. Logs are written to file, okay. Rotated, environment variable, okay. Error logs are written to a separate file. Either only to a separate file or in addition to logging in a common file. By the way, have you implemented this thing? I didn't see separated logs for errors. Intercept. Logger service error. Right, look. No, it uses just the same file. Probably it's not implemented. Okay, okay. You have separation by naming. Yeah. Okay. Then this requirement is covered. Probably that's all about the assignment. Okay. Thank you for your work that you sent for review. And let's wait for questions a little bit, and then we will wrap up. Hello, Andrei. You are a little bit late to the party. We already performed review. I assume you do not have questions to the implementation. Okay, guys, I don't see new questions. So this was the last review of task during our course. So we had a long journey. You learned how to use Node.js basic APIs, how to build console application, how to write unit tests. For Node.js and external APIs, you learned how to build some simple crude API. You learned how to work with WebSockets and GraphQL. You learned how to build complex backend application using Nest.js, how to connect real database to it, how to containerize it, how to implement authentication, what login and error handling approaches are used in application. So I think this knowledge will give you a good starting point to your backend journey, and I hope you will apply your newly acquired skills. So this is it. I wish you all the best and see you in the next iteration. But don't forget to review, don't forget to make a cross-check review of the existing tasks. because otherwise you will not get points, just as always. Okay, goodbye.